Have you ever just stared at a website and thought, what is this really? How does it all work? Well, today we're going to peel back the curtain and look at the actual blueprint. We are going to demystify the simple but super powerful code that builds every single page on the internet. Let's dive in.
So let's start with that big question. What is a website? Is it some kind of digital magic? Something only coding wizards can understand? Or is it actually something way more straightforward? Something anyone could get the hang of? I think you know where this is going. The answer is a lot simpler than you think.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll talk about the big idea that made the web possible. Then we're going to learn the actual language of web pages and look at the basic anatomy of any site you visit. From there, we'll get into the magic of the hyperlink and finish up by seeing how it all connects our entire digital world.
All right, let's jump right in at the beginning. We're talking about a simple, brilliant idea that completely changed the game and really gave birth to the web as we know it today.
It all kicked off back in 1989. A scientist named Tim Berners-Lee had this vision for a system to link documents together over the internet using something he called hypertext. By 1995, that idea grew into a real standard, HTML 2.0. Then, for years, the web pretty much ran on the super stable version 4.01 from 1999. But the real game changer? That was HTML5 in 2008, which gave us the power to build the interactive, video-filled web we all use now.
Okay, to really get what's happening under the hood, we've got to learn the language. And honestly, it all just boils down to 3 core ideas. If you can get these, you've basically unlocked the secret to how every web page works.
First up, hypertext. This is the big one, the absolute heart of it all. It's just text that contains links to other text. Seriously, that's it. Every time you click a link that whisks you away to a new page, you're using hypertext. It's the H in HTML, and it's what turns a pile of separate files into an actual web. Next is markup language. That's the ML part. Now, don't let the word language scare you. This isn't complex programming. Think of it more like a set of instructions. It uses these little markers called tags to tell the web browser how to display stuff. A tag might say, hey, make this text a big headline, or this part is a paragraph, or stick an image right here. It's what transforms a boring plain text file into a visually structured web page.
And boom, you put those 2 concepts together and you get a web page. It's just a document written in HTML that your web browser, Chrome, Safari, whatever you use, reads and translates into the finished product you see on your screen. So the HTML is the blueprint and the web page is the finished house.
So why HTML? Why has this been the foundation of the web for decades? It really comes down to 2 things. It's universal, and it's simple. It's universal because it just works, everywhere, on every browser, on every operating system, Windows, Mac, you name it. And it's simple because the files are tiny and load fast, and you don't need any fancy software to write it. That powerful, flexible foundation is exactly why it's been so successful for so long.
Okay, theory is great, but let's get practical. It's time to look at the anatomy of a web page. Think of this as the basic skeleton that holds up every single website, from a simple personal blog to a massive site like Amazon. These right here are the absolute essential building blocks. You can almost think of them like Russian nesting dolls. The biggest, outermost doll is the HTML tag. Everything else lives inside it. That tag holds 2 main parts. The head, which has all the behind-the-scenes info for the browser, like the title you see in the Browser tab. And then there's the body, and that's where all the stuff you actually see lives. Every heading, every paragraph, every image, it's all in the body.
Okay, so let's see how those pieces actually fit together. Look at this code here. See how everything is wrapped inside those HTML tags? And inside that, the head section has the title. Again, that's what shows up in your Browser tab. Then inside the body, that's our visible content, a big H1 heading and a P tag for the paragraph. This clean, logical structure is the basic blueprint for every single web page out there.
Now for my favorite part, what our source material calls one of the most intriguing inventions the web has to offer. We're talking about the hyperlink. That little piece of code that took a bunch of disconnected documents and literally wove them into a World Wide Web.
So, how does this magic actually work? Well, it all comes down to one single simple tag, the anchor tag, which we write as A. I want you to think of this tag as a magic doorway. You put it in your text, and suddenly you've created a portal that can lead to any other page on the entire internet.
So how do you actually write one? It's a really simple formula. You start with the opening A tag. Now, the most important part is this little attribute called href. It stands for Hypertext Reference.
This is where you put the destination address. Then, you type out the text you want people to actually click on, and you finish it all off with a closing A tag. And that's it. That's a link.
But we can also get a little fancier and control how that link opens. By adding a target attribute, we can direct the user's experience. By default, it just opens in the same tab. But you know when you click a link and it pops open a brand new tab? Yep, that's the underscore blank value right there doing its job. It's super useful when you want to link to another site without making people leave your page. And get this. Links aren't just for going to other web pages. You can use them to trigger other actions. A really common trick is using the mail to prefix. This tells the browser, hey, don't go to a website, open up the user's default email app and start a new message for them. And here's what that looks like in the code. See that? Instead of an address starting with HTTPS, the href just starts with mail to and then the email address. The link text can say whatever you want, like send email or contact us. It's just a simple, really clever way to make your page a little more interactive.
Okay, for our last section, let's talk about the different kinds of journeys these links can take us on. Because, believe it or not all links are created equal, and knowing the difference is actually really important if you want to build a well-structured website.
We've basically got two main types, internal and external. Think of internal links as the hallways in your house. They connect all the rooms or pages within your own website. They're what you use for your main navigation menu. External links, on the other hand, are like roads leading to someone else's house. They point to a page on a completely different website, and they're essential for things like citing your sources or linking to other helpful resources.
Now this connects directly to how we write the link's address. An absolute URL is the full street address, protocol, domain name, the whole shebang. You have to use these for external links. A relative URL is more like giving directions from where you are right now, like saying it's the next door down the hall. These are perfect for internal links because they're shorter, cleaner, and they won't break if you ever change your domain name. So, to bring it all home, let's circle back to this quote. A large number of HTML tags, each with a unique content, make up an HTML document. And that really is the main takeaway. Even the most complex, gorgeous website you've ever seen is, at its very core, just a collection of these simple, well-defined building blocks we've been talking about.
And that leaves us with one final thought. A single, simple tag, the A tag, was powerful enough to turn a collection of isolated computer files into the World Wide Web. It just makes you wonder, what's the next simple idea that's going to come along and change everything? Thanks for joining this explainer.